Building $1 billion company is not easy. This is week 22 of trying to do that, and I'm going to tell you some of the problems I've been having this week. So as you all know, I've been building Blinker now for 295 days, but I started my weekly videos 22 weeks ago, so this is week 22, and I'm going to recap some of the things that have been happening this week with Blinker. Now, you know that we had this competition which completely changed the trajectory of our business. We went from launching the app in November to having 300 users in the first couple of months, then launching a cash competition that ran every 2 weeks, and we've gone from like 300 users to 5,000 users in literally about a month, and it keeps growing. And with that, and I used this title in one of my last weekly shows, more users, more problems, and that continues. 2 weeks ago, when I did that show with more users, more problems, I thought, I'd got to the end of it. But to be honest, the more users I get, the continue the problems that we're having, right? This week, we kind of changed some things around because there's no competition this week. We thought the app would be quiet, but fingers crossed, it's been still going. Users are still going, even without the cash. Right? Which is great to see. And the questions have been a lot cleaner, right? When there was a cache and people were farming for points, people were just putting AI generated questions and they were just, trying to get farming points, which is fine, but it's not what we wanted to do. So as I said in last week's video, we kind of redoing the rules a bit. We continue to improve things and to try to make it not so AI generated questions. Obviously, I mentioned that we've changed things. So we've limited the number of posts per hour per day to 7 per day and 3 per hour. And you have to have 2 humans reply. So don't write about particle physics or something that no one knows anything about. Write about questions that really mean things to humans, right? We've changed the point system to make it a lot tighter, so things can work together. And what we're really kind of hyping on is the face-to-face videos. Now, people tell me, why do you make people do face-to-face videos? There's so much content going out there. People are posting all the time on Instagram and TikTok. Why can't I have a platform that does the same thing, right? Why can't I have a platform that asks people to post faceless and give them a little bit more videos, billable points for posting their face, and then images and then videos you download from, Instagram and stuff could be like the middle points, and just text, the laziest out of them all, would be the lowest points. We're driving that competition forward. On Thursday, it's going to start. I don't know when you're going to see this. This might be the Thursday by the time you see it, and the video editor's been through it. But, I'll be really interested to see what the traffic's going to look like. I'm sure there's going to be thousands of people that jump back on. Not thousands, we don't have thousands, but I'm sure there's going to be hundreds that jump back on within the first day and start posting for these things. So it'll be really, really interesting. But we've built the safety guards in, as I said. And those limits that I discussed, Mayura spent all week kind of building those in. So they automatically stopped. Automatically when you get to 7 posts, automatically when you get to 3 points, they're stopped. I still do the point system manually, which is fine. And that's things I have to do. We haven't figured out how to do a point system like that. As I said, also, I've got a new student starting with us who's going to be looking for AI answers. The question that we really have is how do we determine what an AI answer is, right? And I think, because there are answers that people write in English and their English is not great and they put it into AI and AI rewrites it. I think I'm going to allow those when I can feel a little bit of humanity in them. What I'm not going to allow is things like, if I was a human, I would do this, or according to polls, the answer of this is this, or, do you want, the obvious one at the end is, do you want me to expand on this further, right? Those are definitely going to go. And when those go, it doesn't mean the limits change of those persons. So they have to be careful not to post questions that are or answers that are AI generated, right? Because they will be deleted and you won't get the points on them and you can't change your limits. And because the limits are tighter now, hopefully people will care about that a lot more so that they get the right answers or get the right type of questions and the right type of answers out there to not get deleted if they're really interested in the prize. I don't know if it's going to work. I hope it's going to work. Is there anything wrong with building a competition only initially? No. Just generate and drive users. If you go over to my Honest Entrepreneur episode that I'm doing this week, I talk about that. If you're driven by driving users, then just drive users, right? Go to users, do that, and drive users to grow, and then figure out the monetization part of it. And you don't need to worry about trying to figure out how to monetize everyone straight away. Because when you have 10,000 users, when you have 50,000 users, when you have 100,000 users, it's a lot easier to test things. If you have 10,000 users, you can test something. But if you have 50,000 users, if 10% are using it, 500 people are using it on 5,000 users, or 5,000 on 50,000, you can test if it works. You can test, does a coin system work? Does a blue tick approval work? Will people pay for it? Will they not? Because you have those numbers to test things. If you're still down at 1,000, then no one's going to really be able to test things. So that's what we're doing. We're driving that. We're driving the growth right now for user growth. And we keep going with it. And I'm happy to go with that. And I'm happy to throw out these competitions. And all I'm really paying is the prize money and the marketing money. But if I work out my CAC is still less than $1 at the moment. So my cost of acquisition per user is still less than $1, which is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. If I can continue to grow that, not the CAC, but the users, at such a low cost, I can get to 50, 60, 70,000 users and have so much data, so much things that I can use in them. So that's what's going on in the app. On a second note, I've been invited to a couple of things. Tomorrow I'm doing a career fair at a university here in Dubai. Very, very different, a lot of corporates there. I'm going to go as a startup. What's it like to work in a startup? What's it to do there? So that would be a good thing to spend the day. Obviously, I'll take flyers and a banner. And on Thursday, I've been invited to speak about entrepreneurship or being a founder. I've done it quite differently. I've put a few groups of slides together that actually walk them through problems that I've faced with Blinker, right? How would you do this? What would you do with that? Those kind of things. To see if I could generate an interest that way. It'll be interesting, and maybe they'll sign up to Blinker. Anyway, I think that's enough for today and this week. Please, please, please download Blinker app. And then if you like these videos and you like listening to me, please hit like, subscribe, share, whatever YouTube asks you to do, because I really do appreciate all you guys. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.